Hello and welcome everyone. We welcome you once again to Vestralex free online community classes on law. This is your initiative by you for you, and obviously possible through the very generous contribution of our seniors, colleagues, and all the distinct members of the bar from across India who have ensured that this humble initiative, did not just start but also somehow sustains. So today, it is my distinct honor to introduce our esteemed guest, the managing partner at Comm Legal, with a distinguished career spanning over 3 decades in corporate and commercial laws. Our guest leads a team of seasoned professionals dedicated to delivering comprehensive and customized legal solutions to clients across diverse sectors and geographies. And obviously, our guest has an extensive experience encompassing advising on a multitude of complex transactions, including mergers and acquisitions, foreign investments, joint ventures, private equity, venture capital, technology transfer, external commercial borrowing transactions, and management and advisory. So, for all those who do not know what all of these things are, we are with you, and we'll try to go through all of these details with Sir today in this interactive session. Sir is also not just a legal practitioner, but he's very deeply committed to education and mentoring the next generation of legal professionals. He believes that they serve uh, as the future of the country. Sir is also an adjunct professor at several prestigious law and management schools, where he teaches courses on contract drafting, reviewing, and negotiation skills, mergers, acquisitions, of course, and corporate law. He has authored works on drafting commercial contracts and is recognized as an essential with reference to top universities and law firms worldwide. So, the content that he has created. He is also a Chevening Scholar and recipient of numerous prestigious awards and honors. Our guest is also the founder of the Global Business Lawyers League, a pioneer platform designed to facilitate business referrals among law firms globally. We are privileged to have such an accomplished and respected individual with us today who continually seeks new opportunities for professional collaboration, mentoring, and knowledge partnership. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bhumesh Verma. Bhumesh, sir, it is a humble privilege and pleasure to have this occasion to learn from you. So, how are you doing?
Very well. Thank you so much. And it's pleasure to be with you again. Thank you for such a long and very kind, generous introduction. I don't know whether I deserve all of that, but that distinctly qualifies as my longest ever introduction on any platform. So I don't know where did you get all this material from, but it's very kind of you. And as I said, very happy to be back with you.
So it's just a blessing. And so honestly, the introduction, personally, I felt that it was much shorter, but I just realized that probably I'll end up taking the entire time of the session itself. So, but research has been done by our interns. So we are also doing this internship program this time around, learning from you that we have to keep giving back. So this time
Right.
around, sir, we have this Vestralex internship program that we've tried to inculcate with the community class program. And this time around, so we have a bunch of interns who are trying to, run
Excellent.
at least the research bit of everything.
Excellent
So,
initiative.
but one thing I must say, sir, since our last conversation, and so I'll also put in a link of that conversation with this video so that anyone who's watching this may also be able to refer to that. That was more on academic lines. This one is more on a conversation basis. So first of all, I request your permission that अगर कोई सवाल सर हिंदी में भी मैं अगर कहीं पर पूछूं, we'll try to keep it mixed. But अगर हिंदी में भी हो तो सर, I know your command over the language, both languages for that matter of fact. So I'll request that you indulge into that also, sir. Any conversation
Sure.
in any manner you think.
Sure. I'm equally comfortable in English, Hindi, and Punjabi. So take your pick.
Fantastic, sir. So Punjabi, to sir, I'll request that somewhere you put it wherever you think better. So,
Yes.
sir, how come law, sir? What what is the idea of getting into the legal profession?
Well, I guess I was very inquisitive from childhood. okay, this thing happens this way, but why? What is the authority behind it? So this knack of questioning everything, not accepting things just because you are told in a particular way, I think that led to some amount of, you can say, interest in how the economy functions, how the government functions, and so on. So, like, I was a commerce student in schooling, class 11 and 12. Then I took up a BCom honors from Delhi University. So I was, you can say, business student. But again, how does this business ecosystem function? There has to be, system which mandates rules and regulations. This is how you conduct your business in a legally compliant manner, right? So that enhanced my interest in law. So I guess this is how it started, and this is how it progressed into deeper interest in law as a subject.
So I understand inclusiveness, I think, is where your answer, I think it resonates with a lot of people. Me specifically, I know, but I know I'm certain with a lot of other people also. So when did you understand that this inquisitiveness is there in you? So was this in schooling, early schooling, like how sometimes I have friends who have parents who are lawyers. So they've been to court since a very young age. But so what was the time when you understood that, or that you are inquisitive? Just that much part, that you have some inquisitive.
No, inquisitive, I didn't say, or I didn't feel I'm inquisitive. My parents or everyone around me would tell me, why do you ask so many questions? That is how I recollect that I was inquisitive. So, my journey with commerce or economics, I think led me towards law. So it started with my, interest in commerce and economics as subjects. And I think my first thought was to become a chartered accountant, right? So I did BCom honors. Side by side, I thought I would start uh, CA, but somehow it got deviated. I got more interested in legal sides of things rather than the accounting or auditing side. I think that drove me into law.
So a lot of guys, when I was studying law also, they had CA background. So is there any specific advantage that anyone who is also currently probably pursuing law or who is pursuing CA, that they may choose eventually when they want to come towards law?
There's no harm in attaining more qualifications or more degrees or diplomas or such additional capabilities, so to say, because anything that you attain through hard work, research, and follow up is useful. It could be company secretaryship, it could be CA, it could be MBA. So all of us have a lot of friends who are additionally qualified in some line or the other. Because when we started law, like in 1990s, I had no background. I had no one to guide me. I had no contact circle who was practicing law. Till date, I am the only lawyer in my family. So it was self-driven. But today, students have access to a lot of networking. If not within the family, it's outside the family as well. So there is a lot of, I would say, better guidance available to students today. They can align an additional subject of their choice and interest to their legal studies as well. Like this 5-year law courses also entwine either management or humanities, and some law schools commerce as well, so they can choose the subject of their choice. And if they, like, I think one or two institutions have an MBA aligned with law as well.
Certainly, sir. So I understand. It's very interesting that you bring up the topic of 5-year law and how so your background has been when you approach law. So just one thing I wanted to clarify before I move on to my this question. That so you had commerce when you were in your after matriculation, 10th, 11th, and 12th. After that, sir, you pursued your CA. On the one hand, you did along with your CA, sir. You also did your BCom.
I didn't do CA.
Okay, so you did not pursue it
No, I didn't.
professionally.
I didn't. I didn't.
So after 12th, sir, what was the journey?
Come again, please.
So after 12th, so I'm trying to have a distinction between the 3-year and the 5-year law. So
Right, right.
after 12th, sir, you did your 3-year law from Delhi University Faculty of Law.
Yes.
So what was the undergraduation course that you had the opportunity of pursuing?
BCom honors. I did from Delhi University only.
BCom honors.
After class 12, because I was a commerce student, the choices were BCom honors or eco honors. I got BCom honors, so I undertook BCom honors. My study of, company law, uh, accounting, and other subjects, contracts, etc. during BCom, they enhanced my interest in legal side of things. That is how after graduation, I dropped the idea of doing CA somewhere in between, within my second year, I think, and then I got into law.
So that's really fantastic. So just one thing I wanted to ask from you, and this is something since you're mentoring and guiding so many young people like myself, and of course like so many other guys, that so how does it play out that initially at so I'm also a student of Delhi University, so we have the opportunity, all the people who were studying with me at my time as well, they came from diverse backgrounds. There were people who had history background, someone was having CA background, someone was even probably a working professional, probably who was taking a break, or someone people were of a plethora of ideas. Engineers were also there, people were there with prior work in construction and lots of kind of things that I can remember with medical background as well. So these 5-year law courses which are these advantageous in this aspect, or do they have a disadvantage that the students do not have that fraternity of being with people with a multitude of educational background?
As I was telling you just now, that today's students are very well informed within their schooling years, right? Even we have in some schools, I think we have a subject in class 11 and 12, legal studies as well, right? So today's students are much better informed. One would go for a 3-year graduation course and then pursue a 3-year law course only if one is not decided by the time one is out of class 12 whether this person wants to pursue law or not. But if this person has already made up his or her mind that I want to pursue law, it may be more beneficial to start a 5-year course, I guess. I think 3 year and 3 years, one, there is, one additional year that goes, and then you have to appear for two entrance exams. First, for your graduation, and then for law. And then there could be differentiation between a 3-year course and 5-year course. I'm facing this in whichever universities I'm teaching. Students are in a fix that, there is some distinction, differentiation, and sometimes, differentiation even by employers, that whether you have pursued 3-year course or 5-year course and so on. So there is a tussle always. So I would recommend, I mean, both have their positives and negatives, 3-year course and 5 years. But bottom line is, if you are sure by class 12 that you want to pursue law as your vocation, your interest lies in law, whether you have the background, whether you have the knowledge, or whether you are fancied by the, social media posts about the packages law students are getting. There were no such things when we studied. So our road was very clear. We have to do BCom. If I get a good job, okay, I will start working in accounts. You know, law or CA came later in our mind. But today's students are much more equipped to handle all this. So if the student has already focused on pursuing law as a profession, I guess it may be better to go for a 5-year course aligned with the subject that the students is interested in, be it humanities, be it BBA or otherwise.
So, so certainly, but so there is this another thought that I have in my mind, because obviously it's very clear, and it's very, you made it very unequivocally very clear that if you have a clear perception of getting into the legal field, get into a 12-year, get into a 5-year law. Otherwise, obviously, if you're lost, then you eventually will end up over there if you have to, if destiny has it that way. So,
Right.
but what was the time? Like, I'm just curious, because again, a lot of us, a lot of the people who will be referring to this video will be students, and they also have a lot of questions with respect to uh, what am I getting into? What do I get in the future? Like internship opportunities also, sir, that they are of various forms. Today we have online internship opportunities also. So you also offer the online internship opportunity. And obviously it's a privilege for students who are able to come and get that with you. But similarly, so what should a student look for once he's inside the law student? Once he's inside the law school, what are the kind of things that should be his priority, or what are the kind of things that those 3 years or those 5 years, how can a person try to spend those?
I think first thing is to get a grip over what is going on, what is standardized in your law school, what are the compulsory subjects, you have to study them all, right? Then your choice comes in, I think, third year or fourth year onwards. You have to choose the subjects of your choice, electives or the credit courses, you know. So there, I think again, I'll come back to the aspect that the students are very, very well informed these days. Most of the times they have already made up their mind as to what optional courses they would go for, right? If they have a keen interest in environment, they will go for that. If they have interest in economic laws, they will go for company law or contracts or labor laws and tax laws and so on. So choose the subjects of your choice as electives, and I guess you should intern with law firms or even individual practitioners who are practicing in that particular domain. I think you should have diversified internship experience rather than focusing only on one line of legal practice. You are keen on pursuing environment law should not mean you do all the 10 internships with an environmental law firm or a practitioner. I think you should have a diverse experience in terms of your internship. You do it with a law firm, you do it with a corporate law firm, you do it with individual litigation practitioner, you may do it with a criminal practice lawyer. I will not say criminal lawyer. You may do it with a civil practice lawyer, and so on. I think you should diversify so that you at least have an idea of what goes into different practice verticals, because in today's world it is not for sure that you will remain in the uh, domain that you before entering law school thought was what you will pursue. It is not necessary. Sometimes your goalposts, your roadmap, your gestation period, this all changes the metrics. And some practice areas go up, some practice areas go down, sometimes permanently, sometimes briefly, and so on. So you need to have, I think, a more varied sort of outlook towards legal practice. So I think in internships also, you should try to diversify.
So, so a lot of students have one question with respect to internship, the diversification of internship that you mentioned. That so I've seen this culture that a lot of students from across India, they want to come to Delhi and intern probably under the Supreme Court. So is there any advantage to students who do something of that sort?
Well, everything would have advantage. Not saying that, but you should not focus on one thing only, that I want to uh, intern only at Supreme Court with a Supreme Court practitioner, only in this practice vertical, only in white collar crimes. Do not, I think, have this narrow approach. But yes, it carries, I think, some brownie points for themselves. They think they have arrived if they have interned at Supreme Court. I really don't know. Some district court lawyers maybe handling more business than even Supreme Court lawyers, isn't it? So the key lies in being the best in your profession, in being a good professional wherever you are practicing, whichever court and whichever practice area you are practicing.
So certainly, sir, like it's a very clear picture. So, but about you, sir, what kind of internship did you get or to do while you were studying?
Zero.
So none.
None.
And so, how do you find that what kind of impact or influence has it had in your life on your career?
Nothing. Nothing. I learned everything on the job.
So then, sir, about your early career. So how was it? So immediately, so you completed your law. So before that, one final question. So is there any? So did you ever get any back in any of your law subjects while at law school?
Thankfully not.
Perfect. A lot of my friends have pushed me a lot. I got certain backs. I did not know what that would mean, but eventually I think it ended well.
But
So
again, that doesn't matter. Very good friend of mine, only one paper he missed out of 30. He got back in one. And today he holds a very high position in the law ministry. It doesn't matter.
so has
Sometimes
anyone?
good things are delayed. Sometimes good things are delayed. That's it.
So it's very motivating. Very motivating. I'm certain that this particular part should be referred to with by a lot of students, at least young guys.
It may be
So
cliche, but failure is not opposite of success. Failure is a path to success. Failure is a step towards success. If not today, maybe 6 months or a year later, in case that you've got a back, isn't it?
certainly, sir. But I think it also gives a lot of power and motivation that it does. Mistakes may happen, but we have opportunity of correcting them and moving forward.
Yes. Yes.
So, so how so again coming back to that. So, sir, you got your degree. You were a fresh law graduate. And so, what did you do after that? So, how did you feel, and what kind of opportunities were you able to explore?
Well, as I told you, I had no legal background, no contacts, no connections. So immediately after I got my degree, I started practicing with a senior practitioner in district court in Delhi. So my senior was a quite, I would say, respected criminal law practitioner. I would refrain from saying criminal lawyer. So he was a criminal law practitioner. So I was working with him. But within 2, 3 months, I realized I was not made up for that. I'm impatient, very, I would say, output driven person. And the court process 3 decades back, you can just imagine. It was like next to impossible. Tarikh pe tarikh. So I got a bit agitated about the speed of law, and I had no connections like that. I could immediately move to High Court or Supreme Court and get cream of lawyers to work with or cream of clients to work with or cultivate. Had I waited, maybe, but I'm an impatient person by that yardstick. So I thought making a switch to corporate law practice, since my interest in law had begun from my interest in corporate law subjects, you know, company law, foreign exchange regulations, and so on. So I thought a switch to corporate practice may be more conducive towards, what I wanted to do.
And so, how did this switch happen?
Simple question, simple answer. I applied
Sir,
and
I
I
don't
got the
believe
job.
you. I don't believe you, and sir, I don't believe that anyone will believe you. Sir, I have personally myself, when I completed my law, I know I have applied to I think every single law firm that exists. All email IDs I tried to figure out, LinkedIn here, there, wherever I
Okay,
could try, I
I'll
applied
tell
with
you.
it. Sir,
I'll tell
reply
you.
nahi aata.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the secret. I used to read newspapers, and there was an ad that a particular law firm needs fresh graduates for corporate law practice. I applied. I did not know the law firm's name. It was not written. And I got into Ajay Behlan Co. What is part of AZB now? The law firm's name was not written.
So that's very empowering. Now I'm certain, sir, I think every high court, at least all the chamber blocks, district courts also, all chamber blocks, they have some posters with just anonymous postings that a law firm in South Delhi or law firm here or there, they require certain young lawyers with 5 years experience, this and that, whatever, whatever, whatever. Now I think so.
You will win the lottery only if you buy the ticket, isn't it? You can't keep cribbing all the time that I'm not getting the lottery. I'm not hitting the lottery, isn't it? You have to buy the ticket, isn't it?
Certainly, sir. Certainly. So, sir, how was it? So, you joined the new law firm, sir. Now, how does it? So, you're coming from a district court, you're going into proper criminal practice. You're seeing that, and now, so you're in, obviously a very affluent law firm. How was the transition? What kind of work, sir, did you get? What kind of work should people expect?
Well, this kind of work I saw there was like music to my ears. This is what I wanted to do all my life. Very interesting, very hectic, very, you can say grilling. Day in, day out, we were representing foreign clients, trying to get a foothold in India through liberalized foreign investment guidelines, incorporating companies for them, getting joint ventures, technology transfers executed for them, applying to so many different government authorities for approvals, remittances, conducting all sort of board meetings, shareholders meetings for them, getting their audits followed up, and so on. For every single dollar to remit abroad, you needed income tax department's approval. So every day I was handling so many cases at ROC, RBI, and income tax department, plus drafting, plus negotiating, with the clients. So it was a lot of hard work and but a lot of fun as well. We
So,
worked hard and we partied harder.
so it sounds very fancy, sir. But sir, just one thing, sir. District court with us, sir, court gets over at 4 p.m. छुट्टी हो जाती है. This sounds like you need more than 24 hours.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
So fantastic, sir. Fantastic. So though, so I so far, sir, I've been able to see two types of, I think, practitioners. in the field. So one is who are, I think, very driven and who want to, for whom, so I think 24 hours is not enough. That's someone like you, I think, from what I've been able to understand and what I've been able to see also. So you're always active. I think your LinkedIn is very active. Simultaneously, you're very, how do I say, the work that you do for raising awareness on contracts and drafting, that I think a lot of people are aware of it, and many people have spoken to me also about it. Your Telegram page also, I think it has a lot of people, thousands, I think more than 8,000 last time I checked. So, anyways, I want to come to all of these things also, but I think these are the later things towards, because I want to understand how does all of this shape up and where does all of this come from. So it sounds amazing. So the kind of things that you've mentioned about working as the firm with the firm, and so for how long did you work with them?
Worked with them for about 3 years.
3 years. So that's a substantial amount of time. So how about the pay, sir? Pay was when compared to when you were working with the district court?
It was quite decent, considering those times. It was not as obscene as the scene is today, the packages and so on. For the first 12 years of my career, I did not have an appointment letter. I did not have a notice period. I did not have a leave policy and so on. Everything used to work on, trust and personal relationships. Law firms were like families. You put in your efforts sincerely, honestly, you are honored, you are respected, and you are paid well, you are taken care of. I bought my first scooter in life by taking a loan from the law firm. And today students who say they are struggling, they come in their papa given car even for internships. So these struggles that every generation has are very different. So there was, this sort of an informality, I would say, in law firms and the people working there. So you do your job, well, and you are taken care of well. And today you see so many disputes despite such good ecosystem, MBAs driving the law firms and so on and so forth. Despite so many systems in place, there is discord and disconnect sometimes between the firm and the people working there. It wasn't there in those days.
So, sir, as you sir mentioned that these were run like families. So, sir, how is it? Like, is it that these are family businesses, these firms, or is it that they are like professional companies, which, as you mentioned, have MBAs and all appointed, who are not lawyers, but just appointed to manage the business?
So the ecosystem has changed now. Uh, some good things have come about it now. The system is more professional now. But in the garb of becoming professional, I think it has become a bit mechanical or impersonal, so to say. Those sort of bondings and all are, I think, lacking now. Earlier, there were small teams and none of us were like competitors to each other. We would all complement and supplement each other's uh, projects and assignments. Today, there's a competition. My team, this team, that team, every team's targets, performance, and bonus depending on those targets, and so on. There was no such competition at that time. So the system has changed. We have become professional. I think we have become better also in many ways. But somewhere the old world charm may have gone missing.
I think every young lawyer at some point of time gets very fancied by the idea of having those wooden tables and chairs and libraries, and so somewhere those carpets, those lights. I think there's something about the legal profession, apart from the outside the courtroom also, that has a lot of how do I say, intrigue. But it's just fantastic, sir, to know this. So, sir, how, so then after, so you worked here for 3 years. And so you also mentioned that after 12 years, you got your first appointment letter. So what was the journey bit for these remainder of the 9 years?
Then after this firm, I joined another law firm, which was a boutique law firm, and again still handling corporate commercial work for MNC clients. So I was there for about 9 years, I guess, and we handled the who's who of global clientele, working with the who's who of global law firms. And I got more involved with the drafting and negotiation as well. In my first stint, I was more in, you can say, compliance side. More, the ratio was more on the compliance side. In this second firm, I got more and more entrenched in drafting, negotiation, and other sides. So I think this is how you see the draftsman today.
So finally, so I think the entire conversation, this is where it has led to. And so your drafting is one thing which I understand. Someone was mentioning to me that he's the top draftsman of India. That if you want to get something drafted in the best manner, then you have Mr. Bhumesh Verma for that. So, and I don't know whether that person knows you or not, or maybe he's just aware of your aura. But this is the kind of confidence that people, sir, they have in you. And so young guys also, everyone, law students also, they've come to me and they've mentioned that they've referred to your previous class also. And like people, but in general, people are aware of it. So, sir, how comes? Because I understand there are two parts. One is when people want to go for litigation, there is this idea of the instant gratification that you get to know the judge gets to know you, the other consuls, they get to know you, you sit around in the cafeteria, you have a lot of people around you at all points of time. So but sir, how is the life in a corporate or in a law firm? Like, what are the kind of things that a person should expect?
In corporate law, also, I think the same thing works. The more you work, the luckier you get. Your network keeps growing. You attain an aura of yourself besides the law firm that you are working with. The people you work with, they keep changing their companies. But if you have done good service for them, they keep coming back to you. Not only that, they keep recommending you to others. Like today, my work is like 100% by referrals only, right? So the clients that I have serviced in last so many years, they keep recommending me to others, or they keep coming back, with their new assignments, whether in the same company or they have changed their company. So the bouquet keeps increasing, the clientele keeps increasing this way, even organically. So it is not that it is peculiar only to litigation practice. It works as well in corporate practice as well. You do your job well, and people know you, people remember you, people recommend you.
So it's fantastic. It's really wonderful to know that both the so it's really wonderful to have an idea of what the corporate stream of law is primarily through this conversation with you. Sir, but how did drafting per se happen? Because you had opportunity, like how you mentioned that you were organizing board conferences for companies, that you were having shareholder meetings for them. So all of these are one aspect wherein I think probably there's a lot of face value that can be created, that people get to see who's doing it. Whereas on a contract, or on a draft, probably the people who sign it are maybe the people who can still be remembered, but the person who's actually drafted it, that is one person who somewhere goes behind the shadows of that ink. So how come drafting? And so, what are the kind of things that initially drew you towards drafting?
Well, as I started my career, I was drafting there as well. Like I was drafting all the board minutes, shareholder meeting minutes, applications to various authorities, in be it income tax, be it company authorities, ROC or RBI. And so drafting had started from there. Uh, In later years of my career, I moved into drafting of these contracts between the parties, you know, end to end at times, elaborate sets of agreements, backup, entire, you can say transactional documents, undertakings, affidavits, reps and warranties, support letters, confirmations, legal notices. So once I got involved with all like and a job of a draftsman is like a director of the movie, right? People remember the actors, or you can say lyricist. People remember the lyrics. People remember the actor. People remember the singer, right? The lyricist is the last person that one remembers, but that's all right. That's the fun of the game. So it's a very, I would say, a satisfying role to play. And this is, I don't want to confine it to myself. That is why, this teaching, training, writing, all this came in. Because I realize that not much of effort is being put in drafting. Everyone assumes that legal drafting is the easiest of assignments. What is it that you have to do? Just get hold of any damn template from anywhere, change the names of parties, dates, few particulars, and you are done. And you are laughing. That is the biggest feeder to you litigation practitioners, isn't it?
So it's the truth, sir. Every bit of litigation practice, what I understand, there is a draft. Draft, ideally, it needs to have the important whatever perspectives are there. And so this is, I
Right.
think, what
So unless you
everyone,
draft well, there will be disputes.
all young lawyers, for that matter of fact, sir. I think from what I understand, they rely, like all my friends, they call me Keshav. There is a matter for the Supreme Court. I want SLP. I want, some draft. Please send me some public interest litigation draft. Send me some, I don't know, some transfer petition draft, whatever it may be, some appeal draft, 482, 226, 227, anything. Just give me a draft.
Right.
Sir, maintenance petition, execution petition. People just want drafts. You give me a draft, I'll try to put in
Yeah.
my ingredients, I'll try to match, see whatever
It's
works.
not only people, it's multinational clients. They would say, send us a shareholders agreement draft, send us this share purchase agreement draft, and so on. I tell them it is not a 10 minutes job. I send you a template for free. You change the names of parties and dates and so on. It is not a 10 minutes job. I have spent 60,000 hours at least in learning this craft. You think you can do a good job in 10 minutes?
Absolutely, sir. I'm with you on this. Because sir, I also, sir, I try to, I sir, I enjoy drafting. I don't, I'm not very fond of drafting. I would much rather, sir, not draft at all. I would much rather be briefed and be asked to, just read, obviously, thoroughly, research also thoroughly, do everything. But sir, drafting, I take extensively long, sir. One single document, if I'm drafting, SLP, let's assume if I'm drafting, I want to go through the entire law. I want to go through all the facts. I want
Yes,
to know about
yes.
everything. And so that takes so much time that every single time I borderline that delay condonation or delay application. Eventually, I'm thinking that I'll become, somewhat expert at condonation of delay.
Yes. So it's a very responsible and it's very scary assignment that you get when it comes to drafting. You can't leave nothing to chance.
Absolutely, 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 sir. So that's why, sir. But it's, sir. Anyone, I understand, anyone who enjoys drafting would appreciate your what you do, sir, because it's sincerely, it requires a lot of personal commitment and dedication, because it really requires time. It cannot be done without time. I
Right.
cannot blink or wish for it. I cannot expect ChatGPT to do it for me. I cannot expect any advanced form of AI also to do it in the future. So, any some major, some cases or some thoughts that you had till now. So now, so final stage, I want to come towards where you thought of, starting your own law firm. So, but sir, just before that, one transitionary question that I want is that's any some highlight, cases or some instances that that made you feel that I'm a lawyer, and I'm this cool guy.
was quite funny. A gentleman from France came down and said, I want to terminate this joint venture of mine. I want to buy out this, Indian partner we were working with earlier. And I want it done in 3 days, right? And believe me, it took more than 1 year for this entire documentation, government approvals, that other person's, acquiescence to it. It is not, and again, it is not an agreement. You have drafted an agreement and the transaction will be through.
In 3 days.
You have drafted, I keep saying, you have drafted a perfect contract, but this is perfect from your client's perspective. What about the other party? Other party will have a say on it or not.
Certainly, sir, certainly.
So people forget, you have drafted a contract, it will be reviewed also, it will be negotiated also, and then you have to go to different authorities for the termination of this joint venture, transfer of shares, resignation of board members, appointment of new board members, intimating 1,000 authorities. You have intimated your, about your directors, about your finances, about your this and that. You may have to, require your creditors' approval also. So many cases require, approval from third-party stakeholders before you can effect a change in a company's management or major shareholding. So people sometimes do not understand all this. They think maybe because they are used to Elon Musk sort of dealings, isn't it? Overnight, you do something, you enter the building and you throw people out. That doesn't happen, at least in India so far. There are processes, they need to be undertaken properly, and you have to sort out. You have to the crease. There are so many creases you have which you have to clear. So, I mean, every day there is something or the other funny coming up. So I thought I would highlight this to you.
It's actually, so I think this is the so this is the बोलते हैं छक्का मार दिया आपने आईपीएल की लैंग्वेज में, वो भी स्टेडियम के बाहर कि 3 दिन के अंदर मेरे को ये एग्रीमेंट भी खत्म करो और साथ में नया एग्रीमेंट भी बना दो और इनको मतलब इनको ओवरकम भी कर ही लो पूरे तरीके से. आई थिंक दैट्स फैंटास्टिक. Client expectations are summarized best by this example,
Yes.
and a lawyer's challenge is also the best by this example.
Yeah,
So
and they blame us for everything that goes wrong. That delays the process.
And जब blame तो lawyer का ही है. मैंने तो कहा था उसको, कोई दूसरा तो शायद 3 दिन में कर भी देता.
Right.
Believe तो client का यही रहता है. So then what was the point of time? So this is my last question before this for the journey, and then sir, I'll want to just let some questions come in from our participants. So what was the time and what was the thought which made you believe that now it's appropriate for me to start my own law firm?
Well, I said the values and the, I would say, relationship level in the law firms changed a lot. And I was not like 100% comfortable in the new ecosystem that is being built up in today's time. There are so many, burnouts, almost no personal equations, so much of competition, and so on. And, being a partner in a big law firm takes a lot of your time in management rather than actual work, generation or execution, and so on. So I wanted to get out of that and pursue some of my passions towards writing and teaching, training, and so on. And there was also a vibe that I was getting that the ecosystem is receptive towards smaller firms which can provide more personalized and customized services at a better price point, maybe from client's perspective. So since I had worked in big law firms for about 23 years, I thought this is a good time to make a move and build a brand for, myself. And with that, I started my own law firm and started my own, boutique law firms global network as well, Global Business Lawyers League. And since then, it's great going.
So it's just fantastic. It's very motivating, I think, for everyone, for at least all the first generation lawyers or people who don't have some legacy law firm connections in their life. So also, so I just want to point out one thing. You had said that I've given one of the longest introductions for you. Yet in that introduction, sir, I did not mention even the name of a single law firm. Right now, so I request you to kindly just mention the kind of law firms that you worked and partnered with.
I have worked with Ajay Behal & Co, which was, subsumed in AZP Partners, as you know today. Then for about 9 years, I was with Associated Law Advisors. Thereafter, I became a partner at Khaitan & Co. Then maybe 6 years with Paras Luhad and Associates. My last law firm was Link Legal. And then Comm Legal is where I am for 7 years now. And maybe I'll retire from there only if I retire. If you people let me retire.
So no retiring is happening, sir. No retire. No. So of course, obviously, if there is like some, some, I don't know, maybe some client in the Cayman Islands who, probably want you to come and stay over there only. So that kind of retirement, I think probably I would not have any objections for you. But apart from that, sir, I don't see any other retirement. So it's just been fantastic at my end. But so there are a lot of questions which are there otherwise, which our participants want to ask. So there is this question from Anshika. Anshika, hi.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, sir. So my first question was, it is true that corporate firm gives preference to BALLB as compared to BALLB?
I didn't get it.
I mean,
Preference
I'm
to
just
whom?
asking to
Yeah, actually, just
BBALLB
yeah.
then as compared to BALLB.
Okay.
Do they?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it may
Okay.
depend on your overall academic record if they were taking it to account.
Okay. And as for my
Because I
other
think the
question,
top law school of India, that doesn't
hmm,
have BBA, LLB, isn't it?
yeah, they don't.
Then why do you assume they would give preference to BBA,
I
LLB?
mean, where I came from which college I came from, they give most of the preference to BBA LLB, and even my seniors say, "Okay, you can't go for corporate firms because you are in a BA LLB." So that was
Okay,
kind of
because
created a doubt in my
yeah,
mind.
your admission in BBA, LLB or BLLB also depends on the subjects that you have taken in your school, isn't it?
Yeah,
So once you have taken those subjects at your school, you can't deny the legacy, isn't it? You have to
true.
continue with that and face whatever challenges you face in life, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Okay, may I go for the next question?
Sure.
Yeah, Anshika, please ask.
Okay, so the other one was, as I'm so indecisive of my legal career, like how to decide which field or position should I choose or aim for in legal field? Like, should I go for the litigation? Because I'm not really sure about it.
You're not the only one. I think you are in majority. As I said earlier, you should intern with different practice verticals and then see where does your interest lie. Because in your 5-year course, I think you would be studying what 50 odd different papers on different
Yeah,
law subjects, isn't it?
true.
So I think by fourth, fifth year, you should be able to, I think, focus on what have been your core interests, what have been your strengths, in which subjects you have done well, which subjects, excite you, which subjects challenge you. I think that may give some guideline to you as to which practice area to pursue.
As you were talking about the internship, I have this question related to the internship itself. Like, how to achieve good internship off campus campus. It is quite hard for like us as students to go for the off-campus internships.
So very relevant, sir. I also want to know. So again, so I think so that newspaper bit you mentioned back then. But so for today, sir, how do people opt in for internships? Like your internship, which you also offer that online internship. So how do if someone wants to intern with you, how do they approach you? And how should they approach all these other firms?
Right. I think you should connect with your internship cell, I guess, internship placement cell. They are your best bet, I think, with the sort of institutional relationships. They can secure the best for you. Because if you apply on a personal level, I tell you, we have such a small law firm. We receive thousands of applications every year. Scanning them and then identifying good students is a challenge for us. And we can imagine the plight of biggest of law firms in India, right? So this is why we have engaged in knowledge partnerships with several NLUs and private universities. The college universities screen their students themselves and recommend us only those students who are interested in, the practice areas we are in, so on. So that first level of shortlisting is done by the college itself. In addition, I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of good law firms. You keep applying and see where it hits.
And like, what makes a good intern in front of your eyes? What should be an ideal intern should look like?
Ideal intern should be sincere, hardworking, and honest. What more? It's not a paid holiday
It's not.
that you
Yep.
are on.
I mean,
You
even
know,
now, internship isn't even paid anymore. They don't even go and give a
yeah.
stipend to interns, so we can't expect it.
Well, less said is better. Let's not start confrontation on this
True,
aspect. There are so many student activists. I don't want to antagonize anyone, but
true.
you would see complaints only from the intern sites on social media. Is there a platform where law firms can complain against interns as to what interns are
You
doing?
should actually should. So, I mean, young intern know what they shouldn't do in the
So there should be
internship.
a platform. There
Right?
should be another platform.
Yes.
I think
It's very funny.
yes, sir. This is
Quite
should be
funny.
there.
I think colleges should have guidelines for their students also as to how they should behave or how should they work during their internships. We read so many funny stories on lawyers groups as to how their interns are doing.
I mean, there's one
It's
more
the
question.
grudge is not only on the intern side.
Absolutely,
It
sir.
works on
Absolutely,
both
sir.
sides.
It's on both sides. It's on both. There should be affidavits proper. But again, sir, again, I cannot. I think, as you very rightfully said, that this is a cause for activism. By I don't know who and how many. So I think yes. Ajika, last question.
Yeah, I mean, as you're known, quite renowned in the drafting section and all, so I have this question, like what are the kinds of certification and young intern need to learn? Any good resources and website for those certification? Because it is quite hard for me to go, where should I learn drafting and all in my starting year of the internship or college itself?
Well, as well as online courses go, I think you can get them from 99 rupees onwards. There are hundreds of platforms offering these courses.
That's the
Good, bad, and
problem.
ugly. I don't know. That is the problem. That is the biggest problem. Your best bet lies in your college organizing, these courses or workshops for you within the campus by industry specialists. And not only for contracts, but even for other practice verticals. Your best bet lies within the campus. And if that doesn't work, then I think you should select from top 2, 3 courses in the market. Don't go for 99 rupees or 299 or 499 courses, because those are nothing but stolen material from here and there. No authenticity, no I would say nothing. I mean, I would refrain myself. Material assembled by law students themselves or practitioners who have never faced a boardroom or who have never been a courtroom ever. So do not rely. Even if you are taking any online course, see the credentials of the platform and the practitioners who are supposed to be engaged with that course. And you may be surprised to hear that even after practicing for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, people come to me to learn drafting on a one-to-one in the mentoring mode. So learning never ends. And whenever you feel deficient, you should approach the person you want to work with. If your college does not have a conducive ecosystem, then reach out to whomsoever you want to, because your career is your responsibility. No one else, your parents or your college, no one else is responsible for your career, your progression, your growth, your development. Ultimately, the buck stops at you. So be very cognizant, be very careful, be very conscious from day one in your law school.
Certainly, sir. I think
That is my humble
it would be
suggestion.
very relevant that students should be aware of all the committees and also the placement committee per se. So there's a
Right.
question from Ms. Tashvi Bharti also. Tashvi,
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for such an enlightening session. This was needed. I have a very genuine question from you. So, what is the correct time period or what journey do you expect an intern or do you suggest to follow for a child in order who is pursuing law? Like, when should we start? From second year onwards, third year onwards, or what is the appropriate time period to actually get kickstart in this internship process?
Internship, I think if you get an opportunity, you should start from first year itself. Most likely, you will not get an internship in a law firm within first year, but even online platforms and so on, which provide you research opportunities, you could align with them. Try seeking, or maybe your senior from colleges, they may accommodate you in first year itself, knowing your capacities, that you don't know much law, you have studied business subjects or humanities subjects more. So they may give you some preliminary insights, knowing your capacities well. They may be more sympathetic towards you rather than unknown law firms or practitioners.
Definitely. So one more question to this follow-up would be, so do you feel personally that the percentile which is scored by a child during the law or LLB course is important in the further career of his or her? Like as you said, that one of your friends had a back but still working in a very good position in the ministry itself. So do you feel percentile is a barrier for what you want to achieve in future?
Well, again, my friend's example was from 30 years back. Today, the world has changed. Your percentile may make the first impression for sure for any prospective employer today, but that is not end of the world.
Definitely.
So you may have to slog more, you may have to apply more, but you'll get there. Don't worry.
That'll be also. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you, Tashvi. Pankaj, what are your questions?
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Pankaj.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sure.
Pankaj, please.
Yes, sir. So my question was to sir as what mindset should we have when we enter the law school from the very first year?
Sorry, come again. There was some disturbance in between.
Pankaj, can
Okay,
you repeat?
sir.
So
So
he's asking what
I
should
was
be the mindset of a person entering.
Mindset. Okay, right. Mindset should be, how much can I leverage my 3 years or 5 years in law school? I should squeeze the most out of this experience. I should study hard. I should sleep well. I should play well. I should live well. I should, you know, live my life, this best phase of my life, to the best. Enjoy, study, learn everything, do everything that you want. Don't enjoy ke chakkar mein, don't get into drugs. or drunk driving. Okay. But otherwise, enjoy your life as much as you can. This is the best phase of your life, which sets up next 50 odd years of your life, isn't it? If you spend these 5 years well, अगले 50 साल life set है, isn't it? So the efforts that you put in here, try to cultivate smart working also. जरूरी नहीं कि 20 घंटे पढ़ने वाला स्टूडेंट 8 घंटे 10 घंटे पढ़ने वाले स्टूडेंट से बेटर करेगा. इट्स नॉट दैट. हाउ यू यूज योर टाइम मैटर्स अ लॉट. ठीक है.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, just one more question. Sir, as you have worked with tier 1 law firms, and generally employees complain about the work culture and the long working hours. Sir, do you also experience such things?
I don't know whether you will believe me or not. This applies to you also, Keshav. I don't know whether you will believe me. I have not worked more than 12 hours for more than 10 days in my life in office.
Sir, I don't.
In last 30 years.
I can't. And so that is including all of these firms also.
हाँ, काम को मैनेज करना सीखो. स्मार्ट वर्किंग, अभी मैंने लास्ट बिट मेरा क्या था लास्ट क्वेश्चन में, स्मार्ट वर्क करना सीखो. ट्राई टू मैनेज योर टाइम वेल. ऑफिस में इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग टू मच टाइम ऑन सोशल मीडिया, ऑन गॉसिप, on sutta, on lunch, on tea, coffee, and so on, that wastes a lot of your time. If you utilize your 8 hours, 10 hours effectively, you are sorted throughout your life. तो बर्नआउट के केसेस भी वही होते हैं जहां अननेसेसरीली लोगों को या तो बिठाया जाता है ऑफिस में, या वो घर जाना नहीं चाहते, मुंह दिखाई के लिए बैठे रहना चाहते हैं. जिन लॉ फर्म्स में देयर इज दिस सिस्टम ऑफ appreciating people on the basis of hours they are in office, the burnout happens there only. Otherwise 95% of the lawyers don't face these issues. It's smaller firms and so on, right? When where there is no competition, where people are concerned only with good work, right? The quality of work, the timing of your work.
I think I agree with you largely that it depends upon the kind of working environment that we are in. So,
Yes.
a small incident since prior to me getting into law. So, I was working with a media firm, media largely to say public relations firm from Bombay. So, I was working there only. And I remember that we had a boss who used to give us work at 6 p.m. So give us work at 6 p.m. Expectation was that we would be obviously finishing that work before going back home, and that
Right.
we'd come back to office again the next morning at whatever time was designated, which was just not possible. And I remember that was one phase of my life where I realized that workplace somehow it depends entirely upon the boss, whosoever is the person who's regulating the place.
Right. And this was my undoing, right? You were asking me why I left the big law league. This was the reason. Gradually the culture shifted to appreciating, this mudikhai rather than actual work. I couldn't reconcile with that.
So a lot of my friends also working in the company law sector, primarily in Gurgaon and all these places. So they are also very, how do I say, so to say, not very satisfied with the kind of work-life balance that they being able to make.
Right.
That expectations sometimes they do not match with the kind of work and the profile at which they are. Sometimes they believe that if you wanted to hire me for this profile, then you could have hired me as a partner. Probably giving me more money, giving me some resources also, I would have managed. But I don't know what is the team. I have not worked with them. I have not seen their office.
Right. What do you do with the money if you don't have the time to spend it or enjoy it?
Certainly, sir. Health also, for that matter of fact, I think.
Right. So for those seeking work-life balance, need to take a call somewhere and set their priorities right. at some stage in life.
So we're getting more clarity about how the corporate law life also it progresses in the future. I think it's
Right.
very. I think this is for anyone who wants information about corporate law. I think this is going to be one of the best sessions that they can refer to. So I think, sir, we have the final question from Shivangi Mishra. Shivangi, you want to ask your questions?
Good evening, sir. My Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, what are the lessons you have learned from your failure? Means, was it a smooth or a hard experience?
Well, couple of lessons. There is no shortcut to success. Second one is hard work pays free. As we just discussed, you need a balance in life. Money alone should not be the motivator in your life. You need time to spend and enjoy. Your life outside office is as important. I guess that summarizes my life lessons. This is what I have learned throughout.
Okay, sir. So, my next question is like, can you share a skill that has been helpful to you till now?
Attention to detail. As lawyers, we need to cultivate the habit of reading between the lines. जो लिखा हुआ है वो समझना बहुत जरूरी है, और जो नहीं लिखा हुआ है वो समझना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. यू मस्ट हैव सीन राउडी राठौड़, राइट? जो मैं कहता हूँ वो मैं करता हूँ, जो नहीं कहता वो तो डेफिनेटली करता हूँ. तो जो नहीं लिखा हुआ है ना, वो समझना, टू अंडरस्टैंड अ पार्टीज साइके, माइंडसेट, expectations, behavior, attitude, exposure, risk, appetite, resourcefulness, short-sightedness, or far-sightedness. I think reading all this is sometimes more important than reading the written word. When you are, dealing with any transaction, I think this is what these years have taught me.
Okay. And so, my last question, like, what are the challenges like generally first generation lawyers face and how they can overcome?
Well, we all face challenges. I would not like to distinguish between first generation lawyers or 10th generation lawyers. Every lawyer, every professional for that matter, faces different sets of challenges. Merely the earlier generations being in the same profession doesn't help you much. Actually, they may provide you an entry into a big club, but thereafter you have to survive by your delivery, isn't it? So if you are good at client service, first gen or 10th gen or 20th gen, it doesn't matter. Maybe some hiccups in the beginning, but it will even out. Don't worry.
So पर जनरली जैसे मैंने कई जगह इंटर्नशिप्स अप्लाई किए थे, तो मैंने जब कॉल किया था तो दे वर लाइक कि नहीं, तुम्हारे पास कोई लाइक प्रीवियस जनरेशन लॉयर्स के से लिंक हो तो बताना, देन वी विल हायर यू. तो वो सब चीज बहुत फेस होता है.
Well, I would not like to say anything about other law firms. It doesn't happen in our law firms.
नहीं, जनरली लाइक मैंने फेस किया है ये सब, और मैंने कुछ फ्रेंड से भी पूछा था तो वो लोग ने भी फेस किया है, तो उसके
If there
हिसाब
is
से.
any, if someone's dad or granddad or great granddad is already a lawyer, why do they need internships? They won't, their kids won't be applying anywhere, na? These parents would be telling someone to accommodate and they would get through, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Application का तो कोई
Shivangi,
इसमें सवाल ही नहीं है ना.
sir, if I may just be permitted to add, I think to this, I think थोड़ा कहीं इसमें शिवांगी वो सिचुएशन भी आ जाती है, what sir was mentioning, that हजारों applications अगर एक साल की आ जाती हैं, then how do you say no? Sometimes, some answers obviously would be such जो कि कहीं ना कहीं पे
Yeah,
किसी ना किसी को या तो pinch
yeah.
करते हैं,
So
hurt
it may
करते
be a
हैं.
lame excuse that thrown at you. I don't think that is a genuine reason.
And it's their
So
loss at the end of the day.
maybe,
अगर कोई
maybe, हाँ सर बोलिए.
अगर कोई टैलेंट को अप्रिशिएट नहीं कर रहा है और रादर सिर्फ इस टाइप से कर रहा है तो नुकसान एट द एंड ऑफ द डे तो कहीं ना कहीं उन्हीं का ही होगा.
How does it help me if your family members are lawyers? We don't even ask anyone. We have never ever asked anyone about their parents. Application, you look at the application and you decide whether to take this intern or not. And whether a candidate ever writes in application, my father is a lawyer or my so and so is a lawyer. I don't think. What do you say?
Certainly.
No, I've never seen. I've never come across any such case.
शिवांगी सुनो, अभी मैं तुम्हारे मतलब का सवाल
Yes,
पूछूं.
sir.
भूमेश सर, अगर और जिन बच्चों को आपके पास इंटर्नशिप करनी है, हाउ शुड दे कम अक्रॉस टू यू? हाउ शुड दे
Apply.
डू? So where should they reach out and how should they reach out?
They should reach out preferably through their college.
Preferably through their college. Fantastic. So I think anyone who has reference to this video, then that person knows that they need to get in touch with their college placement team and ask them to approach you. Then they can possibly send in a representation, and that can be done.
Because randomly we keep receiving, hundreds of applications every month. So it's
Certainly.
very tough for us.
Certainly. And sir, how about all of these students from far out places? Sir, at the end of the day, we have a lot of law colleges, but not as many offices for these tier one and tier two firms. I don't know where all they are, but still, sir. So if some people from say someplace like Arunachal Pradesh or maybe Mizoram, Meghalaya, Odisha, places in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, if they want and they don't have some access possibly, so and they want to possibly, reach out probably to you or maybe to all of these other firms, then so any just parting words for them that what they can do?
Well, we can always be approached on our social media channels. Our contact details are there on our website as well. And I don't think any law firm would discriminate or differentiate between students of NLUs, non-NLUs, metro cities, non-metro cities, and so on. Today, our profession is much more democratized, and law firms are on lookout for good talent, be it internships, be it placements. So be confident about yourselves. Work in association with your, internship placement cells in colleges as much as possible, and even independently reach out in a professional manner to the law firms you want to work with.
So, sir, it's been very, very kind and very generous of you to give us this time today, sir, for this wonderful, wonderful interaction. And so I most humbly thank you on behalf of our small team and participants, and on behalf of the entire Vestralex family. At the same time, sir, I just pray because, sir, I understand that as you said, sir, that there is a lot which was said in this session today, and a lot which is there for the interpretation and between the lines that may be
Right.
read by everyone and hopefully to their advantage. And that so this class and this session and more such sessions we'd be able to have to learn from you. So honestly, I want to learn a lot of things which I have been able to point out for myself. These including some specific drafting tricks and tips that you've mentioned. Also, sir, probably if we can have some session at some point of time with some tips and tricks. Also, sir, another thing is that so I'm just saying these things out loud because I have these in my mind right now and I want to have a mental record by just mentioning them again. That sir, I would much rather have an online course from you also. So as you mentioned, I know that you did not appreciate much all of these online courses, but I would prefer that there should be some online course with you also. And I'll also some inputs I have from some courses that I have seen. So I got to observe this course by Harvard also, and I appreciated how they've drafted it, how they've made it. I'll discuss with you also, and hopefully there will be some manner in which it can effectively be reached out to every single person, that more people can get
Sure.
access.
It's been a
Then
pleasure speaking to you and team, and definitely we look forward to collaborate.
so just one final thing. Then, sir, there are, from what I've been able to gather only, I'm just broadly going through it, sir. So also for companies, that when they have their legal teams, that how you mentioned that they just send over some draft to you and say that this is our draft. That for them also, if they also want to do something of this sort, then at least get your people trained in that manner, and then you do. So I see endless possibilities, and it's just fantastic. I'm
Sure.
certain everyone has
Sure.
deep and sincere gratitude.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.